Hello YouTube, welcome back. So today we are still continuing with the recreation of the Sutton Hoo cooking chain. So in this episode we're going to make the knotted element. So this is going to be forged from 10mm or 3/8 round bar, wrought iron as per the other videos. Here it is here. So as you can see, it's got a nice example of a flat knot with some bending, some twisting and a little bit of scroll work. So here is the one which we are making today, and we'll be creating this from some 3/4 inch bar I have left over from another project. So the 3/4 inch bar I will start by forging down to roughly 12 square, and then I'll swage it to 10 round or 3/8 round. I'll spare you the entire process of this because I've covered it in many other videos, but the upside is 2 bars 750mm long. So to start with, we will take a heat on the end of the bar and we will forge a square taper. So keep flipping your material so that you have an even taper. And then go into a low heat to planish it as you go along. It will give you a nice smooth finish. And once that taper's done, simply knock off the corners. And then start rotating it. And that will give you a round taper. That go as fine as you like. This taper ended up being about 3/4 inch long, which is roughly 20mm I think. So I keep scrubbing it, and at this stage I will start scrolling it. So as you can see, I am simply brushing the hammer past the anvil to shape it, and then flip it over and start really pushing that scroll into place. Now I wish I'd made my bars maybe 60mm longer, and I would have had more of a scroll on this taper as per the original. However, the effect is still quite pleasing. So they're not identical, as you can see. They're not actually identical on the drawing, and I don't suppose they were identical on the original piece either, so I'm not too worried. So get a heat in the middle of the bar, and I will use my bickern. You can use your bick if you like, and I'll just bend that by eye. I've not bothered marking up this centre. It's easy enough to get a bend in the middle of the bar and then pull it even afterwards. So with that bent, I will just close it up a bit. And I will put 1.5 inch drift through there and just start closing up those sides, and that'll make sure that I keep a nice round end bit. So I'll then head over to the bickern, there you can use your bick again, and I'll just finish closing up the throat of the loop. Then with the dying heat on the metal, I will stick an angle on there. Now it wants to be just under 90 degrees, like so. So you'll now see that I have the 2 parts needed. Now this will create the flat knot effect. Now you're going to say to me, Rowan, my old china, those scrolls will never fit through there. Well, if you're clever about it and you put a proper right angle corner on there, you should manage to just thread them together, first one end, then the other, and you can just pull it together like so. Ta-da! Instant flat knot. So you can still pull it apart if you need to. At this stage I'm going to take a photograph of it, and then I will take a heat and I will flatten it. So basically take out that right angle from the bars, and that will go some way towards stopping the knot from sliding apart. You will have to keep an eye on it because it will keep moving around. Now you can see I'm tapping this quite carefully. I don't want to mar the material any more than I need to. I don't want to leave hammer marks on there. I just want to flatten it. So with that done, I will take the work over to the vise and I will open those legs up a bit, and that will go some more towards locking the knot together. Now once you've opened up the legs, you want to put a bit of an angle slightly further down. And you can have both legs running parallel to each other. You can have them coming in to touch so that the scrolls are touching at the bottom. And then with that done, I will use my bending jig and I will pull the legs pretty much 180 degrees round so that they're facing backwards. You can see I've done the bottom of this already. I did a practice run on it. Had battery problems with the camera, so I couldn't actually film the entire process, so I had to be very careful to film selected tasks. So with that first bend in, turn the piece around and put a 90-degree bend in there. And then same on the opposite leg. So that you end up with something which looks a bit like that. So you can see we're almost there. At this stage, head back to the vise and twist the two legs together. So I'm clamping it in the vise level with where the two parts meet. And this took several heats because I didn't want to overheat the iron, and I didn't want to do the bending too cold either, because as you've seen with some of the other pieces, you do get delamination with this iron. You can see that one of the scrolls is flipped around, but that's not a problem because we can simply get some heat in there and flip it back afterwards so that it's facing outwards rather than inwards. And just very carefully tweak it into place. Now this would be easier with a gas torch. I have absolutely no historical evidence that the Anglo-Saxons would have had gas torches, so I'm doing this the old-fashioned way. Having said that, I don't know that they had scroll benders either, but I'm using that anyway. So the scroll that was facing inwards, I will flip round so that it faces outwards, and then using the scroll bender, I will just bend that in. Then do a touch of tweaking. And tweak the other side. And give it all a bit of a dressing. So as you can see, the tweaking part took a little while. I did do a little bit of it off camera as well. And give it a bit of a flatten. And here is the end result. This is the knotted element. Now, I'm actually quite pleased with how this came out, especially the knot. I've never done one of these knots before. I would have liked the scrolls to have been a bit fuller. Like I said at the beginning, if you're going to reproduce this, maybe add 60mm to the length of the bars. That'll give you some more material for the scrolls. So it is fitting in quite nicely with the chain. So somebody made a comment last week or the week before that the chain is going to be massive. Yes, it is. It's going to be absolutely huge. The chain belonged to King Redwald, it is believed, and it was buried in his ship burial. And it would have been in his hall originally, so yes, it is quite long. So thanks for watching. Please leave a like or a comment or ask any questions that you might have. If you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me on Patreons. Here's my current list of Patreon donors. Thank you very much, beautiful, beautiful people. And I will see you all next week for the next part.